Welcome to the DevReady podcast, where we're helping non-techs build better tech. Today, we're joined by SHAZAMME, recruitment, websites and marketing. And it's all low-code, no-code, which is quite a buzz area in the industry of technology. So happy to be joined by Nicole and Rick today, co-founders of SHAZAMME, talking all things tech and business and how you might grow out and scale out a tech business. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Great, pleasure to be here.
Bit of background is always a good one in terms of where you sort of came from. Recruitment. How have you been involved in recruitment, and what's your background in the space?
So we have been working in recruitment website technology now for over 12 years, a real passion for the industry, and across the globe we have been helping clients be more successful, from startups, startup recruitment agencies, through to some of the world's largest recruitment companies and everyone that sits in between that, and also dealing with corporates in careers sites. And that has led to the passion of, more modern tech and where we are today. Rick?
Yeah, and look, I met Nicole probably 14 years ago when we independently started job board technology, so to compete with the likes of Seek, My Career and Career One back then. So I was fortunate enough to start JobX, JOBX, and Nicole was working for a company called Jobs, and we were both sort of at the peak of the competing job boards. So there was a lot of money being thrown everywhere. You may recall the back of the bus, the trams, the billboards. Everybody was trying to find a way to compete with Seek, and we launched, I think, within a month of each other, the businesses, and we're competing for about 2 to 3 years. And then we decided to merge when the GFC had hit, and obviously money was tight and we needed to reinvent ourselves. And that's really where the journey started of what we are today. So a couple of the big recruitment firms like Chandler McLeod and Weststaff back then, and Adecco, they're all trying to find ways to cut costs, get better, become more digitally savvy. And we rolled our job board technology into the first, I guess, white label recruitment platform, early days of SaaS. And that's sort of where the journey started.
So it started from competing against Seek,
Correct.
converting to helping effectively Seek's customers. So completely different angle, but same sort of philosophy, right? Same getting customer, but rather than a promotion of a job, it's how do we help them with the tech internally to promote their own website technology, jobs maybe on their own website, and then port it into the likes of Seek. That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all about letting them build a better, stronger brand, and to some degree not to be reliant on anything external. So it's a bit like the e-commerce of recruitment, e-commerce store of recruitment, in that you build your own presence and you market it well and you set it up well, so that you don't necessarily need to go and sell on Amazon, for example, in the e-commerce store scenario. So yeah, it's what we love. And whilst people think, it's just a website and I can just do it on WordPress, once you actually lift the bonnet up, you'll find that there's 100 little gremlins that you need to be aware of. And our skill set of the platform and the people range from DNS, understanding DNS, to SEO, to social, to aggregators, like Indeed and Adzuna, to integrations with 50 different ATSs and multi-posters who are all different. And so I guess we have to become experts at pretty much everything to do with recruitment technology, that unless you understand the space, you just don't get what you actually need to know and what you need to develop for your customers. So the difference between a website developed by my cousin who only knows WordPress and puts together an iframe of Seek or an iframe of JobAdder, versus what we do at the top end for all of our customers, the Rolls-Royce solution. Everything is just interconnected and works and is optimized for performance. And that's the big difference between the two levels. Nicole, did you want to add anything?
No, I think we'll continue on. I'm sure there's lots of things that will come out.
Yeah, so it's a big difference from having just your basic sort of like classified website with just probably listings and then send an email, compared to the entire workflow that you provide and allowing them to automate their processes.
Yeah, I think there's a real opportunity if you get this right. And a lot of people don't realize that, especially from a recruitment industry specifically, there is so many integrations, so many opportunities from a search engine optimization perspective, that if you don't get those right when you're building your brand online, you're never going to be able to compete in what is an extremely competitive market. So it's our job to provide our clients with cutting edge tech that will make sure that they can be as successful as they want online.
On that, it's a very competitive landscape. How do you find people like utilizing your technology? What competitive edges does it drive for your customers? What are some of the things that you can do that others cannot?
Yep. So from the start, we will work with a client and educate them as to what we know works in this space. And a lot of that has to do with what we call site architecture. So there actually is a recipe to success to being found online, and we impart a lot of that. And it's very recruitment focused. And it's things that a normal marketing agency won't understand or be able to apply because they don't understand the industry, where there's different silos of people that recruitment agencies are trying to attract. You've got job seekers is one stream, and they need a focus. And then you've got the employer that's looking to engage a recruitment agency to find talent. And then you've also got potentially the recruitment agency trying to recruit internally for their own employees. So we set up silos, and the way that we've developed the technology, which is all drag and drop and easy to edit, pretty much, as I said earlier, like Canva for recruitment websites, you just drag and drop. Anyone can build and edit a website. You can create job boards. So if you're looking to recruit engineering people, you should have a page that talks about engineering jobs, and then all the relevant information on that page, the recruiters that will help the job seeker find a job, and then also the jobs in engineering that are relevant for that person that's looking for a job. So by building these ecosystems for their industry sectors specifically, can create these beautiful, highly SEO optimized platforms. So that's one thing that we bring to the table. We look at the job ad itself up as being a highly optimized opportunity for search. So every job ad itself, and there's a lot of technical things that go behind this, job schemas and different technology that helps our jobs be relevant in Google's eyes for our clients, so that the SEO optimization, when they post a civil engineering job located in Melbourne, we pull through all the relevant data to say to the search engines, hey, this company is really relevant. It's got relevant content from a job ad level up, and a heap of other technical things where we share the jobs out to the job board aggregators, the free job boards, like LinkedIn now has a free job board. We make sure our clients' jobs are on that, and all the other aggregators that are out there. Rick, anything you wanted to add?
Look, it is about making sure that they've got all the tools and the modern widgets to make their ecosystem as wild and as wonderful as possible. So what we certainly have seen is, now that we have so many new tools, for example, dropping Google reviews on, is a widget that's very quick. Adding PayPal carts is very quick. Everything is just now intertwined and easy to use. Landing pages, microsites. We've got clients now really pushing the limits on everything with connected data to Google Sheets, and like it's membership areas. So I guess what we're certainly seeing from where we used to have old technology that was very rigid and sort of defined by us, that it really limited our clients in becoming the powerhouse e-commerce of recruitment. And that's the big difference that we've seen. So we've got probably a dozen clients that are really pushing the limits, that are really using every part of our platform to build different ecosystems, microsites, landing pages, stores, like anything you can think of, they're really trying. So that's really exciting for us to see. And most of the time, we don't even know they're doing it because it's all there in the platform. Whereas before, because everything was proprietary, if they didn't ask for us and we didn't build it, they didn't get it. Whereas now it's the reverse. They're actually going totally off-piste and building these ecosystems, and we'll stumble across a client site and go, oh, look what they've done. Look at this, fantastic. And then we'll use that to educate other clients of how they can use the platform better.
It should, Rick, also the integrations. So the integrations with the applicant tracking systems can open up massive opportunities as well to really improve the candidate experience. Has been a massive one that we've made lots of inroads. We're integrated with more platforms than we've ever been. And, that is extremely important.
Oh, there's so many platforms in every industry, and I imagine recruitment is no different. We work in a couple of different sectors, and you find that there's 15, 20 platforms to just solve the same problem within just an Australian ecosystem, let alone a global ecosystem. So, I find it fascinating how many competitive platforms there are. How many would there be for you that you integrate with in terms of the actual recruitment piece?
Look, I would say really good integrations, probably 30 now. And we're sort of going from the top down. So, for example, Bullhorn is one of the world's largest ATSs, applicant tracking systems, to JobAdder. So we're obviously integrated with the most popular ones because they have educated the market to become more savvy, and they're the ones that have the marketplace ecosystems that we belong to. And so what you'll find is they all tend to have things that are all working together in harmony, whereas some of the other ATSs that are not at that level, they'll have bad APIs. They're not as advanced in terms of how they integrate with the marketplace. They're more standalone. They're more cost effective, and so they'll attract the not so sophisticated recruiters that really at the lowest level are using a spreadsheet to manage their candidates. And so anywhere up from a spreadsheet to a very basic ATS to then more complex ATS to then a full ecosystem, there's quite a big difference in the cost structure. You can start free, go to $9 a month, then you're sitting at your top end of probably $200 to $300 per seat per month. So there is a big difference.
I would say a shift from those less sophisticated models to the more sophisticated models like yours. So in our business, I think we've been in contact with, over the years, like 4 different recruiters or recruiting agencies. 3 wanted to build their own job boards, and 1 had his own product that we were maintaining. So I'm sure there's been probably a shift away from those to more solutions like yours.
Yeah, there is no doubt. So a really good example, when we set out looking, okay, if we want to create the best recruitment website technology, what are we going to use, and how can we make it easier to, fulfill a recruitment website with a fully integrated job board all in one place very quickly, seamlessly, and also successfully. And we looked at things like WordPress and realized, that's not been built for recruitment website technology. We went no code, low code, meaning, we only need to develop once and then we can use it throughout all of our clients' websites. And when we do upgrades and feature enhancements, which are happening every single day, basically, when clients request other features and functionality, if it makes sense, we just build it in and they get it across the board. People no longer need to reinvent the wheel. So we often get people saying to us, oh, we're looking at building something ourselves, we're going to use WordPress. Talking to a client today, their WordPress website got hacked. I mean, we're talking about, a platform that we've created.
Not uncommon. There's a WordPress hacking, yes.
Yeah. So we're highly secure, we can also look at things like accessibility, so people can be covered from a legal perspective, that their website is accessible. So no, once people see this, why would you bother trying to build it yourself when it's going to end up a disaster?
Yeah, definitely can. In terms of, Obviously, things are going well, tracking. I think you mentioned off call, you've got about a couple hundred clients utilising the platforms. There's a bit of growth in it. Um, in terms of the business itself, you mentioned a little bit offline that you've had a few challenges along the journey to get to where you are. What's some of the things you reflect on from a setup of the technology / the way you've operated the business that you maybe have learnt from or would do differently?
So I'll start, and then Rick, I'm sure you've got some things there to add. Being in this industry for many years, I think, it's the best decision that we've ever made when the point got to it that we should walk away and start again with a blank sheet of paper. We were constantly frustrated with old legacy technology platforms. We had a board of directors that were not willing to invest in new technology. They kept wanting to turn a profit. In the meantime, in the background, technology is evolving and changing, and it meant that our clients were missing out on having best of breed tech. And for me at that point, as a salesperson, going and selling something which I no longer believed in and couldn't see it evolving to the state that it should be in the modern age was so frustrating, and I had highlighted that on many occasions. So looking back, probably should have done it a bit earlier, but it was
Change is not that easy to make sometimes, but you've made the decision, which is good. Some people get stuck in it and will continue and stay within the confines of what's happening. But I get that. I think one thing about technology and technology businesses, it's moving all the time, and your product needs to be probably replaced every 3 to 5 years, give or take, because of how fast things are moving. And I think you mentioned it, the customers' expectations, they evolve so quickly at the moment in terms of how they use things. If you're stuck in a day of they can't update the website on their own accord, as they maybe back then they may have been, whereas now they can drag and drop and make a slight edit. That's what they expect. The expectations are changing from a customer's end, so we've got to keep up as technology businesses.
Yeah. Look, flipping this on its head, I think, what have we done right this time? And I think the lessons that we learned from listening to our customers that we just couldn't implement were in no particular order, but it was the drag and drop ease of use for a non-coder, non-developer to build a site. And I think Nicole and I were both the crash test dummies that we set out to build recruitment websites without ever writing a single line of code. And we've actually built some of the most beautiful recruitment websites without any prior knowledge of coding. So that was sort of the first test. And the second test that we then said, well, we don't want to end up with a ticketing system that's bloated with angry customers and 300 tickets, and they email you again saying, where's this ticket up to? We said the technology has to be so good that ideally we don't get any tickets, and the tickets that we do get should not rely on anything other than us showing them how to do it. So we've built an academy and a help system that in reality takes care of 95% of all chat inquiries. And that's the other thing that we did. We ditched, and we don't actually have a support system at the moment. As much as people say, oh, what do we do for support? We say, hop on chat, and we'll sort it out for you. 95% of all online inquiries are solved within a couple of minutes, max 5 minutes. Anything that takes longer, we tend to have an online screen sharing catch up where we then resolve it or take further action. So that was that one. The pricing was one that we also got right, and we've been fine tuning, but we desperately wanted pricing to be transparent and not a finger in the air to see how fantastic your offices were, so we could charge you 20 grand instead of 2 grand. So that's sort of where we said we want to be someone that you can trust because the pricing is transparent. So you can go to our website, you can see how much it costs to set up, how much it is per month. There's no smoke and mirrors, and that's the big difference again with what we've tried to do. Because e-commerce sites, you go to WooCommerce, you go to BigCommerce, you go to any of those, Shopify, you can see exactly how much it costs. We wanted SHAZAMME to be the Shopify of recruitment, or the Canva of recruitment, that you could go to. Everything's there online, easy to use, cost effective, no hidden cost, etc. So they were the things that we've done exceptionally well. The other thing that we have done, we've made decisions quickly. So if something doesn't work out, cut it, throw it out, start again. So that was another key lesson learned. And then the fun one was that Nicole can talk about how Apple and DC Comics didn't like our name.
I hope you wrote a blog about that. There's a bit in there. Let's talk about the name. So what happened with the name?
Yeah, so SHAZAMME, we were trying to come up with a name that was like boom, bang, ta-da, sort of, that it's quick and it's easy and, there it is, presto. And we came up with SHAZAMME, and we had the wording highlighted differently. And if you do look up SHAZAMME in the Urban Dictionary, it's quite amusing. We didn't know about this beforehand until someone sent the link to us. We went live with our name and we had mixed reviews from people going, "What'd you call it that for? It doesn't sound corporate enough," and all the rest. But we stuck with it because we think it's very memorable and people visually see it and know that it's us, and we've had very good brand recognition until we were probably, I don't even know, Rick, what is probably about, 3 months in, and we're starting to hum along, and all of a sudden we lodged the trademark, and a couple of letters arrived in the mail, one from Apple and another from DC Comics, challenging the name. If you're going to get those letters, they're not the people you want to be getting the letters from.
In the bottom of his pocket.
So luckily in-house, Rick dealt directly with their teams, their legal teams that had sent the letters, and they were very good about it. They were really professional and realistic about the outcome that we wanted.
So that's positive. Yeah, at least it wasn't a hammer down, just change your name. So that's good.
Well, it's funny, a lot of people, my father deals a lot with trademarks, and he said to me, "Oh my gosh, you don't want to deal with this, just change your name." And I'm like, "No, I like the name." So it was a horrible feeling, to be honest. It didn't feel very nice at all. I'm thinking we're going to have to change our brand. But at the end of it all, we ended up needing to change, rather than highlighting the Shazam and the me part. We changed it to highlight the Sha and then the Zammy, and all was good and happy days.
All's good.
Easy outcome.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And it's still the same name. So it works out well.
With that earlier philosophy you had in mind about how you approach the product, how did your first version look or get to market compared to sort of where you are now and how you've listened to customers?
Yeah, look, that's a good question. I think the first version, actually, we came to market knowing what we knew from the past 10 years and what issues there were and mistakes. So there are probably a long list of things that I knew we couldn't repeat and that everyone else in the industry had repeated. So there was some early learnings and early versions that we knew straight out of the box we weren't going to make those mistakes. And in reality, and this is sort of a bit of the Apple approach again, you don't want to listen to too many customers at the start because you get confused and you can't deliver an MVP. So we got to the MVP very quickly, and we had known clients come on board, and we obviously started to listen to them and incorporate a lot of the refinement. But for the most, the architecture of what we developed is still 100% the same. We've just expanded it, more widgets, more refinement, more features than we had back then. But the architecture is, I'd say, 99% the same of what we delivered on day one, which was 10 years of hard work pushed into 6 months of development.
So taking plenty of learning into a 6-month development process, stage 1 to get to the MVP.
Yeah.
How did you go about building team? Because I know you've got a bit of an understanding of what you need, want, desire, a bit of an architectural feel. Where did you start from a team perspective to actually get the product done and delivered from the MVP and what you've done moving forward?
Yeah, this is actually another good learning. We previously had a team of 20 developers and builders and coders. We didn't want to have the same problems. We wanted people that understood no code and were actually gurus and whizzes at using the no code to build a commercial product. So we went in partnership with 2 no code platforms, and we put the onus back on them to develop it for us. So we actually didn't have any staff at all until probably a month ago, and we relied on the experts to deliver us the solution, which, as part of the results that we have today, was actually part of the winning success, because we had people that understood the no-code platform really well, and we knew what we needed to deliver. So those 2 pieces came together very nicely. If I had to train a team of developers and pick a development language, whether it's .NET Microsoft or PHP, the whole process would have gone, in my opinion, very pear-shaped, because to build a team with one particular language and then build a platform requires a lot of documentation, and you need to think about everything from security to structure and architecture and APIs, etc. We didn't have to think about any of that. This was more of a business solution that was crafted around no code. So that was the big win here.
So what you're saying there is the team/teams that you work with had already established products that they updated. Did they have a code base they work from for you, or they start from scratch?
It's a no code, or they're no code platforms that are used by lots of organizations globally for different purposes. So, for example, the US Air Force uses one of the no code platforms that we have. Otis Lifts use it globally for their business. They have so many applications, and if you read the articles from Microsoft and Oracle and all the people that know much more than we do, they're saying 30 to 40% of all platforms will be no code somewhere in the near distant future.
It's evolving, isn't it? Yeah, pretty quickly.
Because you can do rapid development, rapid prototyping. You don't need big teams, so the cost, they're saying, and we've seen it ourselves, the cost is about 10% of what it would have otherwise cost us.
Yeah, that's a big win.
Thinking back 10 years ago, we were talking millions of dollars. We got this up and running for tens of thousands of dollars to a commercial product. So we're talking a quantum that is just, you can't argue with that simple fact.
Yeah, I think it's plenty for people to think through, and not just the low code, no code, but you've utilized other technology to get to your MVP. Not trying to just do everything from scratch, having a base there, because I think most people can deliver an MVP off the back of something. There's open source technology. There's all these different pieces that are available to us, and just being a little bit smarter in it. Going to a development firm, starting custom is a very costly exercise, and the benefits to get to an MVP off the back of custom aren't really there. It's your MVP's objective is to prove that you've got a business case, there's customers that are interested, generate a little bit of traction, and have a base to begin the development really of the commercial product or evolving the commercial product. So when you think about tech, it's just how do you get to the MVP as quick as possible. I think it's testament in terms of the way you've approached it, because that's a big tick in terms of how you might get there pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think the as part of the original decision process, it was built in to say, once we get to MVP and we can prove that it works, we have to be able to scale very quickly. And that's why, choosing an enterprise grade no-code platform that the US Air Force uses and OSIS, we're in the league of people that understand obviously what they do, and we know that it will scale to millions of users, so we don't have to go through those tests again at a later date, because we could have built it on something totally different and had an MVP, but then when you go and scale, you then have to find a way to scale it up off that MVP product. And
Correct.
so we
Or scrap the MVP and start again and build a scalable version.
So we went straight from MVP straight into production, and very little changed.
Oh, really good. That's a good outcome. Do you expect much to change, or you just expect it to stay as is and you're able to scale to 2,000, 5,000 customers?
That is definitely the aim. Right now there is only really feature enhancements and some minor architectural changes that we need to make. But we've gone from being a English only platform to now a multilingual platform, global coverage, all on the same platform, and we've added those features to it. So we're probably the most customizable recruitment website platform in terms of multilingual. And again, it's all no code. So we know the issues that the competitors in this space have with multilingual, having a big top 5 clients that has shared with us all their frustrations. They can now go in and change every label, every widget for every language that they wanted without ever talking to a developer. So, we've really hit that on the head.
It's also, I think, the future for us will be opportunities for other products that implement seamlessly to our offering. So we will always have, this is the foundation, is the website technology platform, but then there's so many other complementary products that will help our clients, that they're always asking for certain things that we can now easily build and offer as part of our solution once we have all of this evolved.
Customer and a client base, yes.
Yeah.
It's easier to sell to your current, easier to sell to a current client base than create a new customer.
Totally.
One of the things that sort of strikes me is very niche. Some founders don't like to be niche. Love to talk about that in terms of what the benefits are that you've found of being specifically niched to an industry. Clearly your technology could work across many different industries if you did some fine tweaks, but that just disperses your thinking. So what has being niche actually meant for your business?
So for us, because we know the industry so well and we know the pitfalls and the issues that people face on a day-to-day situation, the thing with recruitment technology is recruitment is an extremely competitive industry, especially at the moment. And even when it's not, the job seekers, they're trying to find job seekers. If that flips and the economy changes, then they're trying to find employers to engage their services. So we know that we've always got a captive market because it's so competitive. And there are a lot of recruitment agencies out there. The other piece for us, being niche, means that we can offer things that no one else can by the form of the integrations and the product enhancements that are going to help them be more successful online. But we've also got all the corporate careers sites. So any employer that wants to attract great people to its business needs to also provide a fantastic candidate experience. So we can implement a careers site into a corporate website so that it seamlessly looks like it's their brand and everything functions as though it's them, but yet they provide that perfect candidate experience, which is often hard for them to get because their database platform is driving the job application and the job board experience. So we can fix all of that and make it perfect. So by being niche, we've actually got a massive market that we haven't even advertised to yet, that we can offer solutions that no one else will be able to.
Yeah, and the addition is there really aren't that many real competitors in this space. We could probably put on one hand all of the competitors that would fall into this bucket that would offer something, similar to what we do. Obviously, not as new and advanced, but that is different to the upstream market, which is your applicant tracking systems, where there's literally hundreds. So we're in this very competitive market, but there's only actually a handful of competitors, and that really globally that allows us to win big clients around the world, because once they see it, and we've proven this as part of sort of the test phase, once they see the product and they're on anything else, they are literally gobsmacked by what we've created. And that is the I don't think we've ever come off a call where they didn't compliment us on the thought process and the technology and the understanding of the industry. It's just been amazing. Whereas before it was always, looks like old technology. Why can't it do this? Why can't it do that? So we've totally flipped it on its head, and that's what gets us excited every single time we jump on a call, because we know we're going to make a difference.
It's a great place to be, having a quality product that you believe in, and understanding an industry. And the benefits of niching is you can go deep within the space and understand all the detail of how people come together, where some value add could be across the chain of the industry. So I think if anyone out there that's not thinking niche, this is always something you put your hat up on and listen to, because from a niching perspective, it does give you more benefit, and you can get really deep within the client's requirements and problems, and then really understand them. So everyone have a think about niche, because it does come to us as we want to be everything to everybody. It happens 50% of the time that we speak to people. So it's good to see that you're niched.
It's also very hard to sell that too.
It is. To sell niche is much easier, because you've got a clear captive audience. You know who you're talking to, what their problems are. Whereas you could easily have a low-code, no-code website builder, but now you're competing against WordPress plugins, aren't you?
Bubble,
so there's very different
the,
competition
20,
out there.
other platforms that just build anything for you.
Correct. Yeah. So guys, also from a business perspective, why are you in this space? What gets you up in the morning? It keeps you driving and puts a passion behind it, because I can see you're very passionate in terms of your thinking, and your business model and your product. So what keeps you going every day?
Well, for me, it's simply the fact that it's such a big market. We have such a great product. We have such amazing clients that need us, or prospects that need us. We know that when you're converting 90% of anyone you talk to, you're on a winner.
Or not charging enough.
That too, but that keeps you going, keeps you getting excited, and truly we're making a difference, and we love what we do. So that's, for me, the difference.
Yeah, and I think even though we're nearly coming up to 2 years in to when we started, it's a bit less than that, but we're getting up at ridiculous hours, like as a startup, 4 a.m. starts. Actually, it was 3 a.m. the other morning, and we're going through until midnight and later on other nights. It's still just exciting, because it is solving so many problems for people in this industry, and for people to actually sit on a call and go, oh my gosh, I've always wondered why no one had ever done this. Why haven't we heard of this sooner? And, it's very rewarding, because we actually do see the difference that it makes for people. And there's so much more opportunity to help, like, so many other people and solve lots of problems. So that's, one of the big driving forces. It's
momentum, right? So as you get good feedback, it gives you a bit of momentum in terms of how do we keep pushing forward, especially when you're getting quality product feedback. So you've obviously hit the mark in terms of what people are looking for. You've listened to your customers. You've understood what the market needs. You've exited a business to go into something that you understood as the vision of what the product needed to be. And when you tick the box and you start getting that feedback, it starts creating that bit of momentum shift in terms of okay, we're really here, we can actually make a difference and help a lot of people. And that gets you on a bit of a spiral, and it's a positive momentum shift. So great for the business, great for any investors on board, great for team. So pretty exciting things happening at SHAZAMME. Really good to hear.
Thank you. Yes, we're very excited.
In terms of anyone wants to find out a bit about you or your platform, where can they find you? It's just shazamme.com.au, I would imagine.
Just shazamme.com.
Drop the .com.au, got it.
Yeah, we've got to go global. We're going global. Yes. And of course, LinkedIn. Rick and I are both on LinkedIn, and we often get people reaching out for advice and assistance. Where we love helping people, regardless of whether they end up using our technology or not. But yeah, you should be able to find us if you Google shazamme.com.
No, thank you, Rick. Thank you, Nicole, for joining us today on a DevReady podcast. Really been a pleasure just to see your passion and what you're doing and driving a difference in the recruitment space. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.